my presentation today is querying the colonial residue, Anglo-Indian women, gender performativity, and the politics of belonging in Kolkata. So, first, I would like to introduce who are the Anglo-Indians of Kolkata. School, can you please go to slide 2? Slide number 2, please. Yes. So, Carolee Younger called the Anglo-Indians as the neglected children of British Raj. Since 17th century, Western expansion through the trade and the colonial rule brought European powers to India, beginning with the Portuguese, followed by the French, and ultimately, and most significantly, the British came into India. And we all know colonialism was primarily a masculine endeavor. In the case of British India, thousands of unmarried men spent years away from their homeland, during which many of them formed relationship with local women. This is how Anglo-Indians are originated. In simpler terms, Anglo-Indian means who has a Indian mother and a British father. So basically, this is a hybrid community. They are often identified as half caste, Eurasian, Firingi in our colloquial terms. Section 366(2) of the 1935 Government of India Acts defines Anglo-Indians as an Anglo-Indian means a person whose father or any other male progenitors in the male line is or was European descent, but who is domiciled within the territory of India and is or was born within such territory. In the earliest days of their existence, they were treated as they were pure British. But after some time, the British society started to distinguish themselves from Anglo Indian. One of the results of this that Anglo Indians came to form themselves as a distinct category over these periods. So, uh, due to this mixed racial identity, Anglo Indians are often labeled or stigmatized in so many ways. The cultural distinctiveness of Anglo Indians has manifested in various facets of their life. In terms of appearance, Anglo Indians range from being fair to swarthy. This group insisted that they were Europeans, but British society laughed at their Chi accent and ridiculed them for speaking of a home they have never seen. The term is often confused with Bengali Christian. They were initially known as Eurasian. The term half caste was also used to refer them. Quill, please, next slide. So, as we can see, Anglo Indians are a mixed racial category. So, how Professor Robin Andrews she identified Anglo Indians? She identifies as Anglo Indians are people who has English as their mother tongue, acknowledging their historical link to Europe, and being Christian. They frequently dress in Western clothing, enjoy spiced up Western food, and employ Western eating practice, and usually have European names. In terms of appearance, they often have white skin color. So here, as we can see that the idea of hybridity is always associated with Anglo-Indian belonging. So Anglo-Indians, as they have a mixed trait of both the European and Indian families, so the sense of, I mean, in betweenness, I mean, the most of the Anglo-Indian people I have talked to, they are often very rigid to cross the boundaries of our culture and their culture. I hope you remember that I have mentioned that they are often bullied for speaking of the home that they have never seen. Although they are born and brought up in India, they have an idea of a home in London or maybe in other Commonwealth countries that they have never seen. So, here I would like to introduce the concept of hybridity by Homi Bhabha, because the Anglo-Indian identity is actually a very hybrid identity. By hybridity, Bhabha meant that the creation of new form of culture and identity that emerge from a mixing of the colonizers and the colonized culture. Here, I will talk about the colonial third culture. The colonial third culture denotes the in between or the liminal space of enunciation where cultural meanings are not fixed. So, in this, most of the times Anglo-Indians, they formed their unique culture. They have borrowed facets from the European culture, but they have their unique ways of Indianizing it. For example, as I have done my ethnography in Kolkata, there is a church in the picnic garden, Our Lady of Velankini Church. In that church, they worship Mother Mary, but Mother Mary wears a golden sari there. So whenever non-European societies, they have adopted Christianity or any Christian habits, they have made certain modifications in it. And Mother Mary is she is often offered as prasadi muri, that is puffed rice, that is very Indianized in some ways. So, as Robert Ezra Park also pointed out, that Anglo Indians basically formed a very autonomous identity in the particular cultural setting of the city of Kolkata. Well, next slide, slide number 4, I guess. Yes. So, in this slide, you can see a poster of the movie Mohanagar by Satyajit Ray, and there are two women. The women in sari and blouse, she is an Indian woman, and the other woman in a frock with short hair, she is the Anglo-Indian woman. They are basically office colleagues. So, here I will also discuss the idea of ethnicity, right? Like beyond the traditional categories of ethnicity, how the Anglo-Indian, the body of an Anglo-Indian women were always a site of excitement. I will talk about the colonial afterlife. Like as I have in my thesis also, I have worked on the post-colonial identity formation of Anglo-Indian women in colony, and there I have identified I would like to discuss two things like identity labeling and identity navigation. Like often people label or attach something with our identity. For example, when I talked with Anglo-Indian school children, they often tell me that, like one children, her name is Rosalie. She told me that mother of her Hindu friend, I mean, asked her Hindu friend that not to consume tiffin from Rosalie's tiffin box because in anticipation she takes beef or pork tikki in tiffin. And sometimes my other respondents, they have told me like people look at us like Anglo-Indian women, they will always wear dark eyeshadow and dark lipstick. So this is how we often stigmatize the Anglo-Indian, the identity of the Anglo-Indian in short dress, in I mean, you can see in this poster also, in charming smile, in dark lipstick. So here, in sociological theory, we read Robert Martin. Robert Martin talked about two kind of prophecies: self-imposed prophecies and other imposed prophecies. While talking to Anglo-Indian women, mostly Anglo-Indian young, I mean, young girls, so they try to. I have observed a habit of Indianizing themselves so that they can get accepted in the broader Hindu Bengali community. They wear salwar kameez, they take part in the pujas, they consume prasadi, and they often apply mehendi or wear nose studs like nose pins in their nose. So this is how I can relate it to self-imposed prophecy. Because of this bullying and stigmatizations, Anglo-Indian women, they have decided themselves to modify their attire so that they can get the cultural acceptance. And there is the other thing is that identity navigation. Identity navigation I have observed in it in three categories: in food habits, in dressing patterns, or in language. So as I have discussed earlier, that most of the Anglo Indians, they have English as their mother tongue. But as most of the respondents of mine, they have said to me that we know Bengali, we know Hindi. We often have Hindi as a subject in our school, and we learned Bengali so that we can talk to our Bengali friends. They know, they have read Bengali books sometimes. They know Satyajit Ray, who is a Bengali film producers. And food habit. Food habit often depends on the availability in local bazaar. They of course in during the time of Christmas and anything they any occasion, they consume Anglo Indian special cuisines like jhal frizzy, jangli pulao. But in daily dietary practices, they consume dal, chapati, rice, roti, like we all Bengali people do. But one interesting point is that one of my respondents, she told me that her granny often anglicized the name of the Bengali foods, like dal. Her nani pronounced dal as dal. So and the same thing can be noticed in their dressing habits also. And I have observed a generational difference, like the aged Anglo Indian ladies, they wear frocks, skirts, and mostly Western attire. But the Anglo Indian women, like teenage Anglo Indian women or young Anglo Indian women, as they are going to school, they are mixing in the neighborhood with their local girls. So they wear kurti, salwar, they often wear sari also. So this is how basically they are trying to get fit into the i mean uh, the cultural patterning of the neighborhood. Here is an interesting concept introduced by Anne Laura Stoller. She has said that Anglo Indian women are not merely static, rather, their bodies are residual figure of history, but subjects whose lives expose active colonial continuities. Okay, so I will explain it in the next slide. Coel, please, next slide. So I think this is the most interesting part of the paper, the body of an Anglo-Indian woman. When Anglo-Indian women are discussed, whether in film, in neighborhood gossip, or in school functions, anywhere, the focus is overwhelmingly shifts on their bodies. As I my presentation is largely informed by my ethnographies for last 2 or 3 years, my respondents, they are often tell me that the young Anglo-Indian girls, they often like girls in +2 or in college, they often get questions from their friends that, do you guys kiss in the church? Is it real? And often they get comments like that, all of the Anglo-Indian women, most of the Anglo-Indian women, they're promiscuous. So there is a respondent of mine, her name is Roseanne. She told me that she was a student of St. Xavier school, as far as I remember. She told me that often she received comments like, you are not like other Anglo Indians, because most of the Anglo Indian girls are bubbly, they are backbenchers, they are loud in their makeup. But Rosen was very studious, obedient girl. And there is my friend's mother, Mrs. Ann Gomes. She wears frock. So most of the time, Ann auntie, she told me that the local people tell me that, where is that old lady? She is wearing a frock. And one of my Anglo-Indian respondents, she is also a girl, and now she is into her PhD. So some neighborhood uncle commented on her, pointing to her mother, that why are you educating your daughter so much? After, if you educate your daughter so much, you won't get Christian guys for getting her married. So this is how we actually set our idea about Anglo-Indian women, because most of the time we draw our references from the posters of cabaret dancers. The in like one lady, she is into film industry, one Anglo-Indian lady. She told me that in any Bengali or Tamil or in Hindi films, the promiscuous girl or the quote unquote sex worker should always be the Mary or Annie, right? So these questions are rooted in the assumptions of Christian permissiveness and Western immorality, quote unquote immorality. This this script also reproduces the colonial trope that cast Anglo-Indian women as morally suspect. Here, the other part of this slide is about queering also. So here I try to operationalize the word queer in a very semantic sense. Like queerness always indicate the liminality, right? The in-betweenness, the something that is beyond binary. So I have interviewed very few queer Anglo-Indian girls. So I have observed they are often in a doubly marginalized position. First of all, they are marginalized because they are Anglo-Indians, they belong to a minority community, and there are always moral suspicion over their body because they are the residues of the British society, the Britishers who have tortured quote unquote us for a very long time. And secondly, because they are queer, so they are often, morally very, I have observed so much breakages in them, low self-esteem, and as Sharmila Lege called it, that multiple patriarchal gazes. I think they have multiple patriarchal gazes over them. The next point is, Quill, please, next slide. Yeah. So in this slide, we can see a poster of a cabaret dancer. The cabaret dancer, Miss Shefali. Okay. So as Anglo-Indian women, they are into the job culture since last three generation, as far as my knowledge is concerned. So they are often engaged into the works like typist, personal assistant, secretary, stenographer, and often is also as a cabaret dancer. So here I would like to discuss the concept of the gender performativity and the embodied mark. The figure of the Anglo-Indian women has long operated as a racialized sign within which both the colonial and post-colonial anxieties have worked. So in British society, they were not accepted because the Anglo-Indians are often produced without the union of marriage, and her body becomes a site where, and today also in post-colonial society also, we draw our reference from the colonial colonial aspect. So the body of an Anglo-Indian woman becomes a site where anxieties about hybridity, sexuality, and nationalities have negotiated. So Judith Butler talks that the, if you use Judith Butler's framework to analyze how Anglo-Indian women read through highly specific and embodied sign, like as I have mentioned, cabaret dancing posters. And I would like to discuss about two movies. One is Mohanagar and the other one is Shiriyakhana. So both the movies are directed by Satyajit Ray. So in the movie Mohanagar, there is a turn from village society to modern urbanized society. Mohanagar means the metropolitan city. So there, one Bengali married Hindu woman, for the first time, she is going out of her family for job, for earning some money. There she meets an Anglo-Indian woman. Her name was Edith Simmons. So uh, in the movie, when all the women are gossiping, like the Edith's attire is very different. She is wearing frock. She is very fluent in English. That's why the Bengali boss of the office never liked Edith. He used to give her torn notes in the day of remuneration. And the one interesting scene, as I have used as a poster of mine also, that she is giving or she is introducing the insignias of modernity to the Bengali women, Mrs. Aruti Mojumdar. For example, the Aruti often wear sindoor and red bindi, but Edith gave her a lipstick. When Aruti argued that she doesn't want a lipstick, she doesn't want to wear lipstick on her lips, she never wore it. So Edith argued that you Bengali women, you wear sindoor in your head, you wear uh, red bindi. So what's harm in using little red on your lips? And she also gave her a sunglass. So the way Aruti modernized itself, Aruti, fitted herself in the job culture, Edith contributed into that. So the body or the character the extravagancy of the character of an Anglo-Indian lady were always visible in Satyajit Roy's films. The other movie is Chiria Khana. The Anglo-Indian lady here is Rosie. So her character is also very interesting. She stayed alone in a single flat. So very unknown detective. The role was played by Uttam Kumar. He enters in her room and tied her hands. Rosie untied herself and she was singing, and she was not afraid also. So the smartness, the mystifying character, and she was also wearing skirt and tops, where all the women in the film, they are wearing sari and blouse, or wearing their heads with dupatta. So the body or the projection of Anglo-Indian women were always very interesting. So I will mention about a category also. Please, can we go to our next slide? So while doing my field work, I have observed or going through the literatures, I have observed a category like the white memsahibs, like who are pure British women, like the wives of the British officials, and the Bengali Bhadramuhilas. Bhadramuhilas means the Bengali Hindu neighborhood in the city of Kolkata, who are majorly housewives in these times and really into job market. So Anglo-Indian women, she neither fall into the category of memsahibs nor into the category of Bengali Bhadra Mahilas. So this is how she has been cornered. So I would like to discuss some of my data from my fieldwork. Like I have talked to few Bengali women from Bobarak, like Mrs. Ghosh. Mrs. Ghosh, she has an Anglo-Indian neighbor. Her name is Ness. So Mrs. Ghosh shared with me that she has no problem with Ness. She likes to mix with Ness. She likes to talk to Ness. But her husband has serious problem with her Anglo-Indian friend, because according to the stereotypical notion that Anglo-Indian women, they are promiscuous, they are not quite domesticated, and they're morally suspect also. And during the colonial time, it's the three kind of people, the three races, the native, the Anglo-Indians, and the Britishers, in domestic realm or in the official works, Anglo-Indians were never allowed to mix with the Britishers in the during the time of independence. So here I would like to introduce a concept of civil station. Civil station means the non-military British presence, like the drama theaters, local bazaars. When these kind of places become a part of of our daily activities, then the interaction of all the three kind of people, the natives, the Anglo-Indians, and the Britishers, the people were quite free. So before that, there were certain specific demarcations for the for the bazaars, for the gossip sites, in the office, for three different categories. So as I have said, this certain anxieties, these certain suspicions, these are continued. One of my respondents, she told me that we of in today also, our like her boyfriend, he told her once that we don't have sundown rule in the home. The Anglo-Indian ladies, they don't have sundown in the home, like in our imagination that the Bengali Bhadra ladies, they always have a time to come home. And their work culture, where most of the most of the Anglo-Indian ladies I have met, many of them, majority of them are engaged into job. One of Mrs. Grace, she told me that we had nothing left behind for us. We didn't have the generational wealth or any ancestral home, so we had to work. I would like to mention a case that in 2005 there was in Kolkata, there was the Sudet Jordan rape case, the Park Street. She was harassed by few goons. Then many people, like my Anglo-Indians respondents also, they shared with me that people were saying like that she was raped because she was exposed to everything and she was an Anglo-Indian lady. Okay, so this is how we still form our cultural anxieties. Okay, so I don't see much transformation in the post-colonial period also. So well, please next slide. Okay, so there I will talk about their cultural marginalization. Anglo-Indians, they are geographically and in the recent enumeration also, they are identified as the minority community. And Robert Ezra Park, he denied to call an Anglo-Indian disorganized community also. He said, I would rather call them a disorganized man. So in Kolkata, I have observed two trends among them. Like emigration was very common for Anglo-Indians in Kolkata, because during 1950s and 60s, a huge chunk of them emigrated to Australia. So many of them, specifically the people of older generation, they think that they belong to the British. They like to live in the lost white glory, and they liked themselves to get emigrated. But the young people, like one of my respondents, she has told me that my Aadhaar card is one question that I ask every one of my respondents, that whether you think of yourself as an Anglo or Indian. So the young people, they often responded that my Aadhaar card is Indian, my voter card is Indian, I have to get job in India. Why should I think of anything else than an Indian? But the aged people, they still love to stick to the lost white glory, and they think that they don't belong to the city of Kolkata or India. So with the intermixing responses, as we can conclude that if we think of as Anglo-Indians as individuals, maybe they like to get themselves emigrated, they don't like the city. But if we think of themselves as a community, like in Kolkata, in Bow Barrack, where majority of the Anglo-Indian people live, it's an Anglo-Indian neighborhood only. Now this take part in Durga Puja, they consume Bengali food, and they have Indianized various habits of their Christmas. They're open to people, they like to make friends. So as a community, maybe they are assimilating with the cultures of the Kolkata or India, and in doing so they are also forming a very own unique culture of them. So now I think I would like to conclude now. Koil, please last slide. Yes. So this is actually Bow Barrack. It's an abandoned barrack colony. Here, most of the Anglo-Indian people, they live. So I would like to re-theorize the Anglo-Indian womanhood, moving from the historical colonial residues to active contemporary agents of structural disruption. The power of cultural queerness, understanding how liminality, like I have always observed this in betweenness, be in terms of religiosity, be in terms of ethnic identity or food choices or dressing patterns, whatever, there is always some sort of in betweenness or liminality, challenges the homogeneity of the post colonial nation state. And I think we should think of it in. I mean, we should not ignore any of the trends. Like as there are disruptions, they often think that India has not given anything to us. We don't belong to them, and also they loved their city and they have formed their own unique culture. So I think this much is enough for today's discussion, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Suchismita, yeah, for that
Yes.
incredibly profound and illuminating presentation. I hope I am audible.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So you have beautifully unraveled how the historical baggage of the colonial residue can be re-examined through the liberating lens of gender performativity and queer studies. The way you mapped the lived experiences and narratives of Anglo-Indian women in Kolkata, and also navigating the delicate geometry of Bow barracks and the larger politics of belonging, was both deeply moving and theoretically brilliant. It truly highlighted
Thank you.
how identity is never fixed, but an ongoing performance and negotiation of space. This has
Yes,
been a
yes,
stellar addition to our Pride Month special lecture,
yes.
perfectly echoing our mission here at CSRF to question
And
historical
as I
margins.
find it, in-betweenness is
Yeah,
everywhere. I think among
yeah,
us
yeah,
also, we all have some sort of in-betweenness, and I think we should not restrict it to single meaning of queerness. Rather, we should all embrace and accept and talk about our in-betweenness and the liminality we all face in our everyday life.
true. So, Sushmita, since you mentioned how gender performativity operates within the domestic and public spaces of Kolkata, so here is my query that how do the young generations of Anglo-Indian women today navigate this colonial residue differently compared to the older generation you study?
Thank you for the question. Like the older generation, like I have asked that I like for an auntie, she is around 71. So I asked her, do you like the Britishers? She said, yes, I love the Britishers. They are very disciplined, they are good looking, and I hate the Bengalis because they are indisciplined. Because the Bengali people, as I am a Bengali, she is very sweet but very honest, that I hate the Bengali people. You all are into indiscipline, you are all into dirtiness. That's why you have swept away all the Britishers so that you can do your indiscipline in the city. Maybe she loved the white glory, and the reason can be that, like as she was bullied as she wear frock. Okay, but the younger generation, they are quite practical because they don't carry the residue much with them. They have not the seen the British period, or how the Anglo Indians lived in the British period. So they are much Indianized, or maybe, I mean, they put efforts. Like the young ladies, they wear salwar, they often wear mehendi, I mean the henna, in their hands, or they often wear no studs. So for example, there is one of my friend Laila. She has a Bengali lover, so she often tells me that I would like to learn that how to wear sari. So they have embraced it, maybe because of some cultural pressures, because they know the Britishers are no longer with them, and they have to survive within this city only. But the older people, from the older generation, they are still comfortable in the cultural imagination of the British period.
Uh, Thank you. Yes, you are right. And if anyone has any query, they can please proceed, whether you can speak or just use the chat.
Yeah, Suchismita.
Hello.
Suchismita, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Suchismita, like how different is the liminality of Anglo-Indian community different from the ethnic identities of other Indian ethnic identities? Because India is always been a mixture of ethnicities. So why Anglo-Indian? Why you have treated Anglo-Indian as a liminal space between the colonial past and the post-colonial era, whereas the same be applied to other ethnic communities?
Yes, this is a very interesting question, sir. That's why I have mentioned the word residue in my title only. That they are often seen as the residue of the colonial period. Like when the Britisher they left us, we never really liked them. Like in Ann Auntie told me, we are the offsprings of the Britishers. They have tortured you, right? She used the word torture. That's why their anxiety is quite different from ours. Like whenever the Britishers they left India, there were cultural bullying, or the office space scenario was changed. Like Anglo-Indian people, they are cornered, the Anglo-Indian men, like they are cornered in the offices because the bosses, like usually they had the British bosses for a long period. Now they now have the Bengali Indian bosses. So there were adversities. Of course, there are, some sort of ethnic anxiety we all carry with us. But here there is a foreign origin, right? And this trauma, like often, one of my respondents, she told me that most of the Anglo-Indians, as British soldiers, they never really married their brown girlfriend, or they never took them to London or anything. So often origin, people, their schoolmates, they bully their origin. Like you always have a very half and half identity. Where do you belong? Like during the time of, we had election in West Bengal. So one of my respondent, she told me that we are habituated with this question, that you don't really belong to West Bengal. So what SIR, I guess you know what the special intensive revision SIR, what SIR will do with us. We are habituated with the question. We know that we don't belong here. So this is, I think, this sort of anxiety is unique for the my Anglo-Indian respondents.
Yes, I think you have answered our self question. Uh,
Yes, yes. His video is freezed somehow.
yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone has any question, please do proceed.
Yeah, hi, Sushmita. I'm Maria Fitzgerald, and I'm an Anglo-Indian, and I'm also an Anglo-Indian woman.
Yeah,
So
I got it
it's
from your name. Where do you stay?
I stay in Kolkata at the moment, yeah. So it's
Okay.
quite fascinating listening to you and your perspectives because I think your positionality is so different compared to mine as somebody who's also researched on the community itself. So just to introduce, I am working at Ashoka University right now, and I've done two theses on the Anglo-Indian community, and I work
Okay.
especially with young Anglo-Indians. So it's very interesting when I heard you talk about the different generations of the older community vis-a-vis the one that grew up in immediate independent India and currently the one that has absolutely no idea about what the British era was all about. My question to you is because you've dealt with various participants, and I'm guessing from the research work that you've done, it's across different generations, it's across different places. Um, how exactly have you kind of made space in your research for this intergenerational analysis? Because everybody will give a different opinion of womanhood. So, how has this kind of been taken care of in your research? Because when we talk about Anglo-Indian womanhood, it's across different space and it's definitely across different generations. And your responses suggest that, yeah, there are different kind of these nuances there. So how have you dealt with that in your research, and what exactly are the places that you kind of visited in Calcutta for your research?
Yeah, so initially I was very assertive about my data, but then I thought that I need to group it,
Hmm.
so to draw some inferences or conclusions. So there I try to notice two trends, like as an individual, or as a community. When I am looking into them as a community, so majority of people, they have accepted that they are the people of Kolkata. Like, I have a very senior respondent, Errol. He says me that he often calls Bow Street, he still calls Bow Barak Bow Street, because it was his home, the 13 Bow Street. So he tells me that I love that buzz, I love that in betweenness. If I am not accepting it, I am being dishonest with my identity. My other respondent, he often jokes with me that you don't have Indian in your name, but I have Indian in my name, and you are suspecting that I am not an Indian, like in Anglo Indian. So I think, this is how I would like to draw my conclusion. Maybe as a community, they have survived through intermarriages also, because now we have in Bobarak only, now we have Chinese Anglo, now we have Nepali Anglos, they quote unquote, I have not explained it well. So they are intermarrying, because like one of my friends, she tells me that I don't have any Christian guy to get married, so what will I do? Like two of my, they are my friends from my university, they're married to Bengali, boys. So I think as a community, they are into cultural assimilation, they are accepting it. Okay, and it's also part of their survival strategy also.
Thank you.
Maria,
Yeah.
can you please share your Gmail ID with me in the, in the WhatsApp group? I think you are there.
No, I'm not in the WhatsApp group.
So,
Actually, I just saw your the talk description on
oh,
Facebook, and it just caught my attention. I was lucky to kind of catch it, the at least parts of it. So definitely, maybe I could put it in the
okay.
chat. Would that be okay if I could put it in the chat right now for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like to be with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Suchismita. Anyone else wants to talk? It's not necessary it will be a query. You can also just share your thought with us.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
please proceed. Yeah, you are audible.
Yes. Yeah. Good evening. Uh, I am Dr. Chandrani Acharya, professor in Calcutta Girls Beauty College, and I just want to congratulate Suchismita for this wonderful lecture. Hello, is it
Thank
audible?
you. Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yes, and Suchismita, I have gone through your long-term researches regarding the Bow Barracks. I have gone through your series of publications and research work. It is just wonderful to think about the people who are in Kolkata and how are they living their lifestyles, especially the Anglo-Indian woman. Because very few researchers are there in this field, and you have chosen the topic. It's a very burning topic in today's India. Especially, I want to thank you for for this topic today, which you have selected for the lecture. And I just want to know something that, what do you think, just for your views or suggestions, that what do you think about the present political scenario in West Bengal now? As we are finding regarding SIR, and so many people are leaving India just for these cause. So what is their condition right about now? I'm just talking about the Anglo-Indian people who are Indian now, who are staying for long in India, and they have loved to stay in India. They have married so many Indian people, and they are living like just like the in Kolkata we live as community in India. So, what do you think their present situation now in the present political scenario I'm talking about? Especially, I want to know about the, you were talking about the acculturation and assimilation processes that they have gone through. So, what do you think their present situation right now?
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Acharya, for asking me this question. I think the answer is going to be long. So, as you have asked regarding the present political scenario, I am mentioning the name of two Irish brothers. One is brother Brendan McCarthy, and the other one is brother Franklin Graham. Brother Brendan McCarthy, he was a school principal in the St. Joseph Collegiate School. He is now 84. He has worked for the poor children. He used to roam in his cycle in the Anglo-Indian neighborhoods. Now, they have the missionaries, they have missionary visa. So now the government, they are not renewing his visa because he is not an Indian, but he is dedicated his life to India, to the poor children of Kolkata only. And the other one, he is Franklin Graham. The government also rejected his visa for he was going to join a conference here. So I don't want to restrict it to any specific community or any specific ethnic category or region. I think the as long as the separatist identity, separatism in any terms, maybe in political terms, maybe in in various judgments that we make in our everyday lives, as long as the separatism will be there, it will be difficult for all of us, right? It will be difficult, it might destroy the cosmopolitanism that the Indian nation has cherished for long. So I think we should come along, and we should move beyond the separatist questions, and we should accept our fellow humans as friends, despite keeping the uniqueness safe.
Thank you so much, Suchishmita. It was a wonderful explanation. And it was just, elaborating and total details you have given. Thank you so much for your elaborating lecture. It was eminent one. And I hope that this lecture is creating great awareness among the people. Through your lecture, many people are able to know about some facts, which are really, have been explored through your researches for long. I have gone through your writings and all. And today also, it's much enlightening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for asking the
And I
question.
also want to thank the organizers also for arranging such wonderful lecture sessions.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Chandrani. Uh, Anyone else? So for everyone, I just want to let you know that this lecture will be is streaming on YouTube already, and it is a recorded one. So you can just watch it whenever you have time. Okay, whenever you need to watch it, you can watch it in our uh, YouTube channel, Valid Education by Dr. Kallani Fari. Okay, so I think as we bring this spectacular evening to a close, it is my privilege to propose the formal vote of thanks on behalf of the Cultural Studies Research Forum. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude goes to our esteemed resource person, Suchismita Das. Thank you for taking the time to share your path-breaking research with us today. Your brilliant analysis of gender performativity, the nuance of Anglo-Indian community, and the complex texture of Kolkata's social history has left us all deeply engaged. You have truly given us a powerful lens to view the politics of belonging, making this Pride Month special lecture an unforgettable academic experience. A special thank you to our vibrant audience, scholars, and researchers who joined us tonight. And I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Anand sir and Dr. Kalani Bharat ma'am. And thank you everyone once again.
Thank you
So
so
have a
much
wonderful evening.
to the organizers and to the lovely audience. Thank you for selecting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I am ending to this session.